I think we're like that like light blue.
Like sky blue.
Not quite sky blue, but a little bit darker than that. Like in between like
Well, I was
regular
thinking when you look
navy
at Batman, then you got a whole gradient scale of just blue from dark blue to white.
yeah, and we could do I don't know, like
Then you have gray over
I
here with
really
King
like
Kong.
just like the white and black too.
Well,
So I'm
look
kind
at
of a
that.
fan of that.
Look at the King Kong lettering right there. That's a pretty cool gray.
Gray. Yeah, I mean, gray is like an interesting color. That's all I gotta say. Gray is so dull, it's so boring.
It
It's
B tier,
unfortunate.
man.
Yeah, but like, we're just good enough. We gotta be an okay color,
Gotta
right?
work our way up to A tier. So blue is our A tier.
Yeah, blue and red is like our A tier, I think.
Oh, okay.
If we rebrand ever, it's gonna be like dark red. Like
Crimson.
yeah, crimson red. Yeah, I love that.
We'll go Jurassic Park red.
Yeah, that red's nice. I the problem is that so right now I'm Peppa. I'm like Lord Peppa. I'm switching from like a kind of like red like this, like it's like that kind of peppery red, right? Is what I call it. I'm switching that to like a gold. So it's
Ooh.
more like what we're drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or more like the Wu-Tang symbol.
Okay, all right.
And yeah, it's like that christened gold. Single episode. Like I think even when we were in Kato's place, so we had like a blue dash background.
Okay.
So it's like weird, like it's just always been kind of there. And I didn't think about it at first. I was like, oh, like, is it just like a gradient color that I'm putting on like the final edit? But no, there is like a light blue tint for like every single episode. I think it's because we used like light blue lights around here for a long time before we got these lights. That is weird. It's odd. But blue, black, and white is like where we're at right now.
Sure.
So that might change.
I can play with it.
What do you think? What's our question?
Question of the night is name your favorite album from any genre.
Ooh, favorite album from any genre?
EDM even have an album?
Damn it. Oh man. Well,
Mortal Kombat's the only one that went platinum. Word.
The new bit will be every time Jeff talks, it's just a beeping tone. Beep, beep,
You can see the mouth move, but there's just no audio.
We're like both like non-analog. We're like,
Yep,
oh
yep,
yeah,
sure,
yep.
That's the way to go.
Guys, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? Like, there's been kind of a few things that have happened, right? We've had all the Puff Daddy stuff coming out. That stuff's been fun. It's been a journey.
Even here, Kevin Hart, he had 5.
He had to
vegan
close all of his restaurants.
Yeah, closed all of them. It's like, I wonder
And people are saying it's not like coincidental, but like it happened 5 days before the arrest. I feel like he might have just known.
when you party with that guy, it's like everybody knows what's going on.
I'm kind of happy to see like Kanye like kind of validated again. It's kind of funny. Like the dude, he's been on a roll lately. It's just been like one thing after another. And Cat Williams saying that everybody was gonna get exposed this year, last year, and now that's all coming out now. And it just seems to be like there's a couple of people in Hollywood that need to be taken down by all of this, and it seems to be happening finally now. But I think it's funny that the like Beer Champs clip from Kanye is coming back up. I don't know if you guys have like watched that podcast when it first aired, but
was he on that after or before Rogan for the second time?
I think it was before Rogan. All I know is that the viral clips are getting re-uploaded, but when he was on there a week after he got on there, they like the Beer Champs, like, which is Charlemagne's podcast, I think it is. But Charlemagne had to like take down all of his clips. Like he took down everything from him, and then they took down the full episodes. So like nobody had the full episode anymore. I'm pretty sure it's like floating around now, but like it like wasn't up for a long time. And then yeah, he was like on record saying that like Corey Gamble is like, an FBI agent or a handler, and like, It's like all related back to like the Kardashian family, and I don't know how much we can like actually talk about this, but I
Yeah,
know,
I think the
um,
Kardashians are a protected class
yeah.
unless you're
So
sucking their tits,
I-
you're kind of
I'll
fucked.
I'll just say that like Kim Kardashian's like basically cease and desisting a bunch of journalists right
Mm,
now because they're releasing, you know, potentially incriminating material. Like we don't really know.
right.
We don't really know.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like what exactly is happening, what
He's just like,
exactly is
oh,
going down.
not sharing that.
Well, it's Barcy like it's what is
Can't talk
it?
about that.
Um what is it like Dolce Cabana? What do they own? Balenciaga? Is it Balenciaga the one that like the Kardashians are
Um,
I don't
deep
believe.
in with?
I know they work with them. I know they got in some trouble with them because they were
Yeah.
promoting BDSM with kids and sexual trafficking
So
and stuff like that.
I think it's like that whole cabal pretty much just trying to like cease and desist a bunch of people, and there's no potential way that they can even get anything out of that. But because the material's out there now, it's not like
And all they're
somebody's
going to do
like
is just going to creating more validity, verifying everything that we thought was
exactly.
all hoax. Is like kind of like
When you
what they
start
did with
fighting it, it
Biden's
like
daughter's diary. It's
yeah,
if they would have left it alone, they would have created validity to it, from Project Veritas to the gal that got sentenced to jail for a month for stealing a diary while she
mhm,
was in rehab. So it's like all this stuff is just stacking up.
yeah,
But who knows? Like
the,
it'd be interesting to see if the big O, the $1 billion corporation, if she gets taken down.
yeah. Um, and I think a lot of people are finally like looking into all of this stuff though. If P did like if Pup Daddy really is like that connected or that involved, I guess,
Hmm.
like which it sounds like he is. I mean, like
He's with everybody. He's like, he got a
seems to
picture
be
with Trump, with
everybody.
Kamala Harris, with Montel Williams.
Yeah,
He was with everybody. I mean,
literally,
considering he
yeah.
goes back to the
it
'90s.
seems to be everybody.
Yeah.
So
Like, and then like now there's
I
stuff
guess
coming out about Suge Knight. Like
I'm
Suge
gonna
Knight wanted to take him out, but he ended up taking a Tupac instead.
yeah. If that all comes out
Should have
too, I
went
mean
the other
that's
way.
Rico.
Well,
Yeah, that's
if
Rico
you listen to the
charges. That's
interviews with
everything.
Patrick Bet-David when he's interviewing Suge Knight on his podcast.
I've not seen
Oh, you
that.
should listen to them.
No,
They're good.
I'll have to go back
They're
and watch
very
that.
good. They're not really. They're. It's because he's in jail. So it's like, what else are you gonna do to me? You're already in jail. I don't know if he's in there for life or if he's.
I mean, what else are they gonna do to you? What do you mean they're just gonna pay off the guards? They're gonna take a nap,
Mhm.
and then then you're gonna get
Anthony Bourdain.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna get gone. Anthony Bourdain, whatever's gonna happen, Puff Daddy feels bad, man. Like I mean, you kind of had it coming. It's been a long time coming. I feel bad for Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah, people now are
Like,
actually looking at his
Those
lyrics.
messages are now coming out. Yeah.
those lyrics, man, like I'm so like nobody believes me. I'm so alone, like lonely, like that
Reminds
whole
me-
song hits out a completely different way than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, it reminds me.
No,
I'm
I'm
Rick.
even like, dude, like, yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen with all this stuff, but I figure there's a day of reckoning
You
afoot.
remember? You remember when Kid Cudi's car got blown up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was Diddy.
Well,
'Cause he's
and
dating his ex and stuff like that.
I never knew that that's like what happened. Like I never, he like threw a Molotov cocktail into his car. I don't know when that happened or whatever, 2014, whatever. It was before Indica came out,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize that album cover is just like a fiery explosion. That all makes sense now. I never knew that. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, like
yeah.
I never.
His car.
Yeah, it's his car literally on fire.
Even
Like it
even
never,
Eminem-
it never like clicked in my head though. So like now that I'm learning all this stuff too, like I don't think, Kid Cudi like might be part of the cabal because of like the humiliation ritual he's gone through. But
what
like
was the most? What was his? What was it? I haven't seen him dress up as a
he
woman yet.
wore a white dress, I think, on SNL. He
Oh,
was reamed for it.
He wore a couple dresses.
okay.
Is
So
that has happened more than once?
Yeah.
Do you,
Okay, that makes
so
sense.
do we blame Kid Cudi for doing that, or is there just like an evil cabal like telling him that he has to do
I
this?
think that was like
Because I know Kanye cut ties with him after that. So,
was it
like,
all just for a skit? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's all
Could've
about a
just been like a
humiliation. Look at
publicity
those spots.
thing.
You
well,
look
like right, because
Jim Carrey.
yeah, Jim
Yeah.
Carrey's worn dresses. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
in
I think
skits or something. You
Eminem
know what I
has
mean?
too.
Like right,
I
like
think LeBron James is a big one.
yeah. Dennis Rodman was a big one in the '90s.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
I don't think anybody can get as big as him,
Yeah. I'm just wondering, like, at what point do you blame them for like who they're hanging around with, or at what point do you just say it is like a skit? It's meant to be funny. It
Right.
has nothing to do with anything.
I think it just puts them in the club. It's a club that
Yeah.
we're not invited to, but it's like a club I don't want to be invited to.
Yeah. Yeah, the more that I am just like a normal person and I'm like not involved in all of this like Hollywood things, I'm like not inviting the evil spirits into my home. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I feel like
I'm not
uh
over here with the Ouija board.
yeah, well, and I feel like the more
I won't talk
attention,
about Ouija boards. No,
there has to be something
They're
that
kind of
like
fun.
nope. I am not gonna fuck
I
with
think
that,
I've
man.
only messed with one like 1 or 2 times. That nothing's
I've
happened.
messed with the
But
one a couple times.
if you go
Um,
through, you got to make sure you send the end ritual because otherwise, shit will keep following you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. End the ritual properly.
Yeah, because there's only like 4 rules you have to follow, and that last one is where people get too scared, like shit gets real. They'll forget to say it, but that's when it's
No, you have to end it.
It'll open the doorway up. That's
'Cause
why
then they're
I'll
just gonna
Do you
keep
have
coming.
any Ouija board experiences?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my buddies used to play with one almost every weekend. Ask her questions, but we'd always end it because
Yeah.
we knew if we left that open, then it's just our own fault.
Yeah. But have you had like
It's moved on us. Oh yeah, like none of us have like touched it either. We're like sitting there with our hands like up in the air and it's moving across the board.
Oh yeah, and the person answering another door is never nice.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that type of
Yeah, we've had 2 experiences like that.
yeah. How'd they go? Like each time.
Well, like it just started answering our questions, but then it's like we asked it, "Are you evil?" And then it started saying yes, or it said yes, and we're just like, "All right, we're gonna end it." Like we don't want to bring this out.
Yeah.
And then the second time was pretty chill. We sat there for like 20 minutes. We were like, "Are you evil?" No. You want to talk? Yes. Okay. So we sat there and asked it a bunch of questions.
Did you get any crazy
Nothing
revelation?
like
Anything
nothing
that
more than yes or no.
anybody got possessed? Or
No,
anything
it was
like that?
nothing more than yes or
You really can't ask complicated questions.
Yeah.
No, because they only have so much means to be able to
no.
communicate.
They only
through
have so
us.
much energy they can put out before they can't do it anymore.
I don't know what you mean. I've never had an experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna be part of it.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with that shit. I'm sure your grandpa would probably tell you no either too.
Yeah, right. I wish he would have been here today.
Yeah.
That would have been an awesome show. Yeah, Grandpa couldn't make it today. He said he was rejoining the cult, so he can't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, he said he was out to dinner with Grandma.
What cult was he part of? Did he ever tell you what?
That's why we need to have him on.
Oh, I got
Because it is like it was like
a
a rebirth or reborn again Christian cult. But they must have been pretty intense. But he was like, they kind of started following it a different way than what the Bible actually says, and then he was like,
usually
more
how
loyal,
it's usually how it
but
always
yeah.
goes, because then the leader always wants to start
They
having
gotta
sex
start-
with your wife and then eventually your kids.
Yeah, they
And
got
then
to start.
everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Slave raid.
Apple.
They were too cheap to get the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need to make
because
money.
you know who
somehow
the real
before that.
followers are. Is like they know it's slavery, not Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so he couldn't make it tonight. But I'm sure he would be telling us to like never talk on a Ouija board or anything like that. See, I've like never had. The only ghost experience that I've ever had is that in my house, like in my house growing up, my dad's house, there's a church across the street, and that there must have been like a burial ground somewhere close to where we were, but there was a like kind of premonition or some type of like almost holographic looking. I don't know. I've seen like a girl walk across the upper hallway in our
Okay.
house, but that said, not scary, not particularly evil,
Mhm.
not like a evil entity. And it may have happened 2 times, the times that I lived there. My dad still lives at that house. And we know when people come and visit, like they like Bobby, one of my stepmom's brothers who spent the night there too. He said that he's seen her too. And he might just be a little bit more connected to that ethereal stuff. I never really believed it until it happened. And like I still don't really believe it. Like it could have just been me seeing things too, but the fact that like other people have confirmed the story is like a little bit more validating. but I still don't really believe what I saw. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'll ever have like a full come to ghost moment per se, where I'm all in the tank for, hey, ghosts exist, and hey,
I think a lot of that comes down to how much your pineal gland's been calcified. If you don't regularly take that particular uh turmeric with black pepper, you lose that connection with the spiritual realm. It's like what with the like the heavy metals and what we ingest and stuff like will play a role in that connection. So I take turmeric pretty much every day except for the weekends. But it's like you the more you take it, it opens up a level of understanding and empatheticness to it all, where it's like you're not an empath. That empath is like that empath stuff is bullshit. Like that stuff is like internet fodder. But
you think EQ doesn't exist?
what's that?
Emotional quotients or emotion, like, you know how they have like IQ, where it's like intelligence quotation.
You know,
Do you think emotional quotation's not a thing?
I I don't know what it means. So it's like
Yeah.
it's so I can't really comment on it. But I know like for myself, I've since I've been on taking that vitamin, I recognize people's energies and auras they put off and stuff like that. It's how you know you can be able to separate from the good from the bad. You know, because like I shed acquaintances. You know, it's like if they're no longer providing value in my life, or am I no longer providing value in your life? It's just not natural growth. That's where you do. Where the people say where you grow from the other people. It's like you know it, you feel it, and
Yeah.
it's, you can also when you're talking with like when you're making a deal, you're able to recognize it, like what's wrong with the deal, what's wrong with the problem, what's wrong with them. You can also sense when people have ill intentions behind their motives and such. Like there's been a few people that I've met through my walks of life where it's like they're always looking to what can I get out of you, not how we can work with each other. And those are the ones
Yeah.
that you kind of
Yeah.
you
That's a big
recognize.
one.
Like there's one guy in my mutual friend group that we all recognize that is that
Come
type
on
of
in.
person. So we try to avoid. I know I put it this way. I've never invited him back to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it comes down to understanding that modality of that person, and and it's like once you start recognizing, you can listen to the key words, you can listen to what a snake says to try to get something out of it. Like I was talking to my good friend Ben when I was out there in South Dakota here back in June, and he was telling me about a woman that all she does is bitch, moan, and complain, and but she uses this elderly woman that's sweet as pie to manipulate her to pay for X, pay for this, pay for that, and it's like
Oh, poor me. Oh, poor me.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they
I'm
recognize
old
it,
and frail.
but she like nobody else sees it. But I also that's where I think
No,
we're
she's using this old lady.
yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing, and nobody else sees it. Like
Yeah.
the pastor doesn't
Oh.
see it.
Yeah.
The pastor's wife, yeah, she's
Poor
manipulating
old
those.
me.
Yeah.
Poor old me.
And that's how you usually
That's what
recognize it.
sounds
You know,
like.
like we've all heard it said, it's like if I show you your 5 friends, I'll show you your income level.
Yep.
It's usually how that all same philosophy
That's a big one.
abides it. You know,
Big one. You're some of the 5 parts around you.
exactly.
Well, sorry for taking your income, guys.
No, one. What was it? I was listening.
Is your income up today?
Yeah. Well, it's
No,
about to be.
it's down
if this
today.
meme coin goes parabolic, you know.
Yeah. Shut up.
It's down today.
Is it?
I'm down today.
Oh,
in general.
Okay.
Not much.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
down today.
I think I might be down, but I don't even like.
I
worry
was
about
up
it
double
anymore.
yesterday, so
There you go.
I'm not down.
So you're
like,
down from yesterday.
from
but
yesterday, but not
up from 2 days
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
I'm up from my original total. So
Overall,
I
there you go.
I'm not really down.
Yeah.
Eh,
So,
I'm never down. You know, it's upward spiral, baby.
but there was a
Really
segment
down
in the
here.
podcast with Dan Bilzerian and Patrick Bet Davis where they talked about like because Patrick was talking about a situation where he was 30 years old, just got out of the military, but he talked to this I can't remember the guy's. He didn't mention the guy's name, but what mattered is that it's like we work together as a group, and as we all work together, we all benefit from it, and that's why like if one of us makes money, we all make money because what he does is they include everybody in the say of the table and stuff like that. Where you're able to put in your what's the one I'm looking for your seed money and stuff like that. That's how everybody works together to be able to achieve those different levels. You know, and that's why he built a business in L.A. for insurance companies because it's like he built a company around him, but he gave everybody stock or ownership in the company. So it's like everybody was invested with to make him better. And when they sold, he sold the company for what was it, $500 million. I mean, it was a lot of fucking money. And now it's like nobody wants to dare deal with it. Go into business in California. Like everybody was discussing that with California raising their rates up, like auto insurance is up like 50%.
Kids
What
are
is it?
so funny,
We have
dude.
to
House
leave that one
insurance.
in.
Yeah.
They've all left.
Um, well, with the idea of kind of bringing your friends into the threshold or bringing your friends into the fold, you need to have a motivated group of people for sure. I know that some of them kind of trying to
It's not
build.
motivated, it's disciplined, but it's also the right leader to nurture that discipline.
I
'Cause it's
had
like,
a
how many times you didn't want to go to the gym, but you went?
oh, dude,
Every day.
But you know what I mean? But
I've
it's the
had
discipline that equals to create that
su-
that
such
lifestyle you want.
a I've had such like a sit down talk with a lot of my creators, right? So like the people at ODG, right? Once Divine Gaming. Um, I have to make sure that people are like in, you know what I mean? Like they're locked in, like they're ready to like you have to put the necessary work in almost every day, despite your other source of income, despite whatever, to be able to make sure that you're on the same page as I am in terms of, hey, are you making content? Hey, are you providing value to the org, right? And it sucks because we don't pay people. I think that's one of the hardest things at first is that like we are paying people with stock in the company, right? It's like how much do you want to put into this company to get out of it? And kind of like what they're saying, right? Like we don't have like fundraising. We're not like getting capital in. Everybody's throwing their own in at this point. And it's a good group of friends, don't get me wrong. And I think it's gonna be I think if we were to pinpoint something and like put time and energy into it, I think we can make anything happen. And I think like building that from the ground up is something one of the hardest experiences I've ever gone through. The first 2 years of our org has been probably some of the most like life lessons that I'm gonna take with me, no matter where I go from here. It's gonna help me expound, find what's important in people because you it's almost like you have to get people that are just as disciplined, just as motivated, just as happy to do what you're doing. And then with that, if you get like the sum of 10 people around you, if you move that number from 5 to 10, then you can do anything. You can do literally anything.
Mhm.
As an org, as a group, as a whatever, as a mindset, as a whole, you're kind of just pushing forward. And I can't sit here and pretend I'm like a good leader in the org. I can't, right? Like I can't just be like I'm good at being a boss, right? Because I'm not like paying people to really do anything. Um, but I know kind of cultivating that mindset and finding people that already are kind of leaning that mindset is like the most helpful thing ever. And if you can find content creators that are like putting in the time and energy, but maybe they just aren't seeing the following, seeing the views quite yet, put time into them now. They own part of the stake in ODG. And then when ODG takes off eventually, because of the people that we've cultivated, because of the people that we've kind of helped their content grow, we're going to have, I mean, give us 3 more years. Guarantee you we're going to be making millions on this, right? And it's because of like the people that I've kind of built around me. It would be the same thing with the podcast. Like, putting you guys here is like a better look for the whole for all three of us, and it's like our skill sets, our different values, our different like adding to the whole conversation can push this podcast even better, right?
For sure.
And it's not that we have to think like business mind. I'd rather not do that all the time. I'd rather just drink whiskey and chill. But it is like like eventually stuff just adds up, right? It just kind of builds to the top, and there's no stopping that. There's no like once it's in motion, which it already is, it's just gonna keep going.
Only up from here.
Yeah, just gonna keep going. And I
Thank you, sir.
always it's really tough to talk to content creators when you have to like sit them down and be like, hey, you aren't doing what you need to do, but I know you can, right? And I think that's like one of the because it's like I said, I'm not paying people really. It's just kind of like we're building an org from the ground up. And I always tell people like we are not making any money yet, but as soon as you do, you're gonna want to be here. You're gonna want to be in this spot. You're gonna want to be where you are. You're gonna want to be part of this org because when we do start money rolling, you'll get the first contract, right? And it's like tough, but it's just like you have to sit people down, and these are grown people. These are people older than me. These are people younger than me. But it's like really weird to just like one-on-one with somebody and just be like, "This is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're already doing great." Right? You have to really emphasize the great stuff, and then you can kind of bring them back up and just be like, "Yeah, like this is what we can
And
do
if you
different."
if you need help with X, Y, Z, I can help you. You know,
I'm a
or
really
at
good.
least,
I'm a
follow, give feedback. On
Yeah.
where you're.
Constructive
Right,
criticism is
right.
really important, and I wish more people gave it.
I wish more
Um,
people could take it.
You know, yeah, that's another thing. You have to be like an adult about it too. Like
Don't get offended by it. I'm
yeah,
trying to provide.
That's what allows you to become a good friend is like you because it's like we've all had conversations. I mean, hell, even Brady and I've had conversation about things where I could do better upon.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like it's like the conversation may not have the immediate result he's looking for, but everything
In the
else kind
long
of
run,
but
it's
everything
gonna
starts
add
to come
up,
around.
yeah.
It's like, just trying to devise the strategy that makes sense to you to be able to implement it. But put the energy to do it right the time so this way then you start on that right foot. Like I know I'm struggling with staying consistent with YouTube, but it's like I have not been putting out consistent content. This summer has been really interesting. So it's like with going through my procedure with this, I have my follow-up MRI here coming up in November. So that I'm going to have that again. But I think that my next appointment won't be until probably 2025. But it's like this year though, it's like I'm going to go a little bit further out. Like I've got to make my way over to South Dakota. I got to talk to the guy down in Illinois to make sure like everything is kosher to follow up at the very end of the day. But I did want to introduce this piece of deliciousness
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So this is something that I've introduced everybody to. This is probably one of my flagship favorites right here. Now this is Cedar Ridge. They're based out of Swisher, Iowa. They partnered up with Slipknot, but this is their signature blend. This is what they've been doing for a long time. It's a malt.
They make
92
that
proof.
number 9 Slipknot.
Mm-hmm.
You've ever had that?
And so with this is a malt barley. It's aged in oak barrels, uniquely finished and uniquely cast finished, which is nice. That it has a upfront deep stone fruit balanced by supple peach finish, and this is malt sets that this is a quintessential signature blend. So that this is like be able to achieve this is like having the skill set to be able to taste it every single time to create a consistent product. This is their flagship. This runs anywhere between $40 to $60 depending on the venue, but it's phenomenally tasty and such. And then here's even since you're still new with this, here's a little you can read up on the brand. But I did a tour here. I did do a tour. We just went to the distillery and I just fell in love with it. So I just kind of introduced everybody
a whole
to it.
diagram on how it's made too.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
And I've given this to you as a Christmas gift. I've given this to other people's Christmas gifts because it's just a good quality beverage.
We'll show the label.
Yes.
We
Now
pretty
that
much
we
just
introduced it, yeah.
we pretty much just advertise for them for free.
Oh, yes.
So,
So I think the toast will be is staying with the mission and not giving it to instant gratification.
staying with the mission.
Yeah.
I love
Let's
that.
stay
one.
the course.
Well, I was also going to mention like 2 hopefully future sponsorships, podcast sponsorships. Maybe people can pay us to do this in a year, 2 years. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's definitely it's a gentleman's drink. You know what I mean? It's like this. When I was there, I didn't realize you want a proper 12 because it's like I didn't see the memo
I
in the
sent them
memo.
it was in the Venmo, but you have to like open the
Open
Venmo
the
up to
yeah.
see the Venmo
Yeah.
message. Unfortunate, but whatever. Well, I'll give
Mhm.
you a pass. Maybe
Yeah.
we do it on Thursday. I don't know.
But this is as you can tell, it's very aromatic. It's different. It's not a peppery feeling. You can definitely taste the peat, the pear, the peach, everything that comes along with it. It's just
That
it's
is
very
pretty
well
much
done.
I like that fruit after. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty good. Pretty good whiskey. I don't know how much you spent on it, but it's
It
good.
was well the receipts in the bag was like 47 something after tax.
Okay. That's not bad though. It's not bad at
But
all.
the nice thing about this, it's not something you want to drink fast.
No,
You want to
you
savor.
Oh, I'm
it.
already done with mine. No.
I
You-
did-
I don't know
did hear
about you guys.
Yeah.
No.
I did pour you a little bit more heavier because it's like you don't have to drive.
So I had an idea before we went live, or before we hit record. I want to do I think okay, because I could 3D print this, but just imagine like little keychains that are bowler caps that just have like the B tier logo on them. Yeah.
Is that what you're printing right now?
B tier bowlers. No, I'm printing. So we have a mouse somewhere in the house, and I want to bring it down. So I'm printing mouse traps right now, and I have bait for them. Guys, I have one of those like Tomcat bait things. Have you guys ever seen those?
Yeah.
Those are like green blocks. I have yeah. So I'm printing 3 different mouse traps. They are based on the Tomcat one, and I'm just gonna put the bait into those and then cover them, put them around the house. I'm gonna kill this mouse, dude.
Oh, so like I think this is. Let's see here. This
Dude,
is probably
I
been
saw
20.
it jolt out of the side of my eye when I was gaming earlier, and I'm like, what? There's no way. So I go over, bring over a broom, right? Grab like the first thing. I was gonna bring a gun, but I brought the
Yeah,
broom
that's
over and pop
Yeah.
a 9
It'd
million.
be funny, like all of a sudden,
like
it's like
holes
Kado's
everywhere.
coming knocking,
first,
like,
yeah, the person
bro.
that shows up is Kato.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
that'd be hilarious. No, so yeah, I like tried to hit it with a broom, and I missed it, and it shot underneath my fridge, and I was like, oh man. So yeah, I'm gonna have to set traps out.
Mhm.
We're gonna kill him.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know where they run though. We've had them before, and they have like the same like trail that they always take.
Do you know
So-
how? Do you know how they know what trail to follow?
No.
Urine.
Huh.
Mice are blind. That's why they stick to the edge. Sticks to the edge of everything. Because like when they're out in the open, they don't have any sense of direction. So it's like when they urine, as they urinate and they defecate, that's how they follow.
Okay, well,
the
I'm gonna
trail.
find their urine trail. And I'm gonna kill them.
So this happened a lot. This is probably almost 17, 18 years ago, probably almost 20 years ago. I decided to call in sick because I knew I had a mouse problem. So what I did is I set up a bait pile essentially, and it's like I'm sitting at my dad's house, and I grab my BB gun, I just pump it up, stuff like that. I knew I had 3 mice, killed all 3 of them. I just
the
sat
3
back.
blind ones,
Yeah.
all of them dead.
Oh, once they got in the area, man, I just bam cracked them. It's like I go like 8 or 9 pumps, and I just line it up and plop because I set up a bait, put up peanut butter,
I didn't
Nutella.
even think of. I could probably get my like an airsoft gun, huh? Start
Well,
popping.
you need the penetration.
So I need a BB gun. I need
Yeah,
like a.
because
Okay.
it's small, and I have pellets. I have pellets and I have BBs. You know, I got everything. I got it.
I know.
Got you.
I know. But yeah, so if anything, hopefully these like I'm printing mouse traps right now.
I have 2 mouse traps that are currently set for nothing because they haven't caught
I
anything.
think it's really
Knock
cool
on
that
wood.
so I was like, oh yeah, like I'll probably need to run the Menards to get these or whatever. I look it up, one Google search, 3D model for this,
Mhm.
found them right away. Takes 2.5 hours to print or 3 hours to print, all 3 of them or whatever. It'll probably take like 5 hours, but I'll have them up by the night. I think that's really cool. Like 3D
That's
printing
sick.
is one of the coolest things ever. So like I
Sure.
said, 3D like B tier bowler caps, little keychain models. I can throw that up in a weekend.
Nice.
That'd be sick.
But yeah, if we ever get a merch shop open, which I have to get a website for us,
I could do shirts.
Yeah.
you can get shirts.
Pants.
Sweatshirts
Mhm.
would be like ideal because we're starting to get.
I'm gonna try one later this week.
Okay.
I'll see how.
Very cool.
B tier sweatshirts would be sick. Like I said, B tier bowler cap
I got a new vinyl. I
keychains
wanna
would be
try.
sick. Okay.
Got to do what?
I got a new vinyl.
Oh,
I
nice.
want to try.
Very
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. So we we could do all of this in house, and I don't think people realize how much money we save when we do that.
Or how
So,
much
like,
we spend to do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We spend a lot of money. $100 a sweatshirt, so we're gonna have to charge 120. You know what I mean for shipping and stuff.
No, not that.
No, yeah. So if we do everything in house though, like
Yeah.
I mean, we could like legitimate
So, like,
'Cause
for an example, right? This
our
right here.
expertise, Phil. Like we can get this stuff out quick.
So I'm selling this hat right now for $25. And what this is it is a laser engraved leather sticker, and it's all it is. It's just my logo right on top of there. So
Yeah,
I'm selling for $25. So it's like, and
we could do something like that for
Yep.
B tier.
mhm.
I want to get B tier beanies. I want to
I
do
could do that.
ODG
I could do
beanies
that.
too. Like I
Yeah.
have to do a lot of merch.
I can do both.
We should do ODG beanies. That should probably get you that
Give me a
logo.
logo.
And okay, we have like a Miami Vice like gradient though, so it's kind of different. I don't know if it'd
figure it
be
out.
one color. How many colors are you good with right now with your vinyl?
How many do I have?
Well, so because I guess vinyl you can do any color, right?
Pretty
Mhm.
much.
What
It
do
all
you
comes
do
down to
for
layering.
Yeah.
what do you do for like gradients though? Say you like wanted it to fade from like we
There's
so
fading vinyl.
you know that like 80s Miami Vice coloring?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like
that
the blue to pink.
blue,
Yeah.
white.
Yeah.
We
They make vinyls that like fade like that. So
okay.
all I'd be is
We
just
do a
vinyl.
lot like that is like our color scheme for the Miami Vice color scheme
Otherwise,
is
it's just me
ODG.
like
And then
portioning out however much of the logo, printing that, printing the next portion in a different color,
okay.
printing the next portion, and then just me layering it
I would love to see the process on it.
anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Cool. Cause yeah, I know we need to do like and I hate to like push my other channel, but we need to do like B tier stuff too. So like
Oh, yeah.
we'll just like throw all of this in.
Yeah.
If you guys had like a gradient scale for B tier, do you think it would be like what do you think the color scheme would be? What is B tier representative of?
Fuck, I have no idea. Gray?
Right.
Yeah, well, it's because it's B tier. It's it's not black, it's
British
not
guys
white.
are like, what the heck?
What are we
you
turning
doing?"
that into?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
white or black?
Like I
No.
can understand the gray man. Like you know, if we
I
were
have no idea. That was just because B tier to me is like
if we were to
screw it.
run some type of like Wolverine operation, like Red Dawn situation, you know, like maybe we are the gray men, right? No, Minutemen. Gray is weird. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's why because it's not white, it's not black, it's like it's gray.
Yeah, I would say like the color, and I hate to even say this because I kind of set this up, but like behind Phil over there, you'll see like a blue light. I think we're like that. I think we're like that. That like light blue,
I like sky blue.
not quite sky blue, but a little bit darker than that. Like in between like
Well,
regular.
that's when you
navy
look at
and-
Batman, and you get a whole gradient scale of just blue from dark blue to white.
Yeah, and we could do. I don't know. Like
Then you have gray over
I
here. with
really
King
like
Kong.
just like the white and black too.
Well, look
So
at
I'm
look
kind
at
of a
that.
fan
Look
of
at the
that.
look at the King Kong lettering right there. That's a pretty cool white and black, but it looks gray.
Gray. Yeah, I mean, gray is like an interesting color. That's all I gotta say. Gray is so dull. It's so boring.
B tier, man.
Yeah, but like you know, we're just good enough. We gotta be an okay color,
Right.
right?
Work our way up to A tier. So blue is our A tier.
Yeah, blue and red is like our A tier, I think.
Oh, okay.
If we rebrand ever, it's gonna be like dark red. Like,
Crimson.
yeah, crimson
We'll
red.
go
Yeah, I love that.
We'll go Jurassic Park red.
Yeah, that red's nice. I the problem is that so right now I'm Peppa. I'm like Lord Peppa. I'm switching from like a kind of like red like this, like it's like that kind of peppery red, right? Is what I call it. I'm switching that to like a gold, so it's
Ooh.
more like what we're drinking,
Yeah. Yeah.
or more like the Wu-Tang symbol.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, it's like that. It's like that christened gold. And I have like a gradient set up for it, so it's like kind of light yellow to like darker or like lighter gold. But it looks really nice on logos and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I probably won't keep it, but since I do like different seasons on Lord Peppa, it's like season 4 is like where I'm going right now, and it's Fallout themed. So like,
okay. So I can see why you get gold.
Watch
Yeah, I
the
get it.
TV show,
Yeah,
yeah, they
yeah.
have like the gold lettering on the jacket, you know, like the fault jacket and
I
stuff.
like it.
So I'm kind of excited for that. But the light blue is like, I bought a mic cover that's like light blue, and then I have like the gold underneath it. So it looks really nice.
All right.
Like,
Rock on.
yeah, it's, I'm getting like all themed for it.
Look
But
at
it's
this.
So he's saying if he had a team, it'd be like UCLA, light blue and gold.
yeah,
Yeah, there you
yeah,
go.
or like the Golden Gate guys. Yeah, definitely. So I'm excited. But yeah, so I know like we have to find a gradient for B tier at some point. Like we have to find like what our color
we
scheme
can
is.
play with.
Right
Yeah.
now, it's like black, white, blue, like that lighter blue, the blue that's like specifically on the floor over here. Just because we've used that color scheme for every single episode. Like I think even when we were in Kato's place, so we had like a blue dash background.
Okay.
So it's like weird, like it's just always been kind of there, and I didn't think about it at first. I was like, oh, like you know, is it just like a gradient color that I'm putting on like the the final edit. But no, there is like a light blue tint for like every single episode. I think it's because we used like light blue lights around here
Mhm.
for a long time
Okay.
before we got these lights. That is weird. It's odd. But blue, black, and white is like where we're at right now.
Sure.
So that might change.
I can play with it.
What do you think? What's our question?
Question of the night is: name your favorite album from any genre.
Ooh.
Ooh, favorite album from any genre?
EDM even have an album?
Damn it. Oh man. Well,
Mortal Kombat's the only one that went platinum.
so we had talked about Kid Cudi earlier, but Man on the Moon 2
Ooh.
probably comes right to mind.
That's a good one. That's a good one too. Yeah.
A very, very close second is, believe it or not, Kanye West's God album, his Christian album. So I don't know.
Okay.
But I
alright.
wouldn't name it. So yeah, Man on the Moon 2, Kid Cudi.
So we're only doing one album.
Name your favorite
Oh,
album from
man.
any genre.
Oh fuck. My favorite one would probably be. I have to do some digging. I've listened to a lot of good albums. Look
How
it up.
about yours before he
My
goes?
favorite album, like if I just had to name one off the top of my head, it would be All Sixes and Sevens by Tech Nine.
It's a bomb ass
Tech Nine
album.
coming back. Yeah, I like it.
All Sixes.
How about like a close second for you?
That's hard.
I said Jesus is King, but that's also like there's a song on Jesus is King that Kanye produces completely out of like a car alarm,
Mm.
which I think was just like one of the coolest things ever. His beat production, I forget, is how it's really good.
So mine would be Godsmack, the debut album back in 1998. I listened to that. Listened the fuck out of that album.
Is it
Yep.
self-titled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Godsmack.
That's why I had to make sure I to confirm because like some they have other ones. One of my next favorite from them would have been Faceless, and then other one would be Devil Without a Cause by Kid Rock.
Okay.
What I
Devil
went
Without
into-
a Cause is good.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you had mentioned
we
that
talked
last
last week,
show.
yeah,
Yeah,
last
last show.
week, yeah.
You had mentioned that you listened to that and played Star Fox.
Star Fox 64, man.
For
Hour
hours.
43 minutes.
Yeah.
I beat that game.
Amazing. I like the sixes and nines. Sixes and sevens, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
69 meme, 420 God, Jesus,
But my,
MLG Gamer.
my second one probably have to be Riddlebox by
By who?
ICP.
ICP, okay.
Okay. Never got into them. I appreciate their music, but never got into
Mhm.
them. So
Yeah.
I was more angry, so I went to gravitated more to like Rob Stein, Godsmack, Disturbed, all that fun stuff.
More angry.
Oh, I listen to all that too. It's just like I found a pleasure in listening to like the horrorcore.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I could listen to killing killing people every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like a escape kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, if I was to do this, they give me so many ways I could. You know what I mean?
Become very, very creative.
Like, right.
Yeah. No, I think like the anger portion, you had just said like I'm more angry, so I listen to like darker,
Mhm.
music. I think that's like I don't know why, but I feel like that just kind of brings in the entire scope of like the mental health issue in America. Not to like get all macro,
Oh,
right?
mine was all based off the
But-
divorce. So it's like when my parents divorced, I got angry and stuff like
Well,
that.
yeah.
No, yeah,
I know.
no, me too. And like you
Yeah.
just
I have
get
different
angry.
playlists for different moods. You know what I mean?
But I
And
never
you
got into
should.
SSRI.
That's how
so-
music is. Yeah, no, and I would not take the SSRIs. Whatever they're trying to give you,
Mhm.
don't take.
Here's
Because
the
honestly,
Kool-Aid.
just go to the gym. Try to figure out your anger. Because honestly, like the more that you look at it, like the gym bros are on top right now.
Those
Gym
guys
bros
are
be-
fucking angry. They look
Gym
all
bros
nice. They're
be ang-
angry.
That might be the roids.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both.
Well, you got the gym bros and you got the bodybuilders. Those
Yeah,
bodybuilders.
Yeah, bodybuilders are the right guys.
Yeah.
A lot of gym rats are just
Those are the ones that have the most
wrestlers.
insecurity.
Or rest.
or wrestlers.
A lot of
Granted, they have to do that for their job at that point. Like they're on the juice because they need to keep
well,
employment.
even nowadays, a lot of even WWE doesn't do. They don't allow PPEs anymore. They're
Yeah,
their
but every
testing is far more strict than they once were when I was
everybody
growing up.
knows, like, the
Back in the
peptides
90s,
now, though, so it's,
yeah.
like, a
There's
little bit
ways around.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's ways to cheat,
there's
especially
ways
if you want to
around it.
like go
There's
down
things that
go
are,
down to
like,
Mexico
not
or go over to
regulated yet,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like FDA approval, like,
It's the Delta 8 of whatever they're saying,
yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
it's
It's like
legal
you're
for
taking
now.
endos,
Yeah.
and then you might switch it to,
It's
like,
legal for now. In a
endo
month, it'll be
endo
illegal,
AA or
they'll have
endo
something else.
AS or whatever, yeah.
HHC, you know.
Yeah,
I remember
exactly, yeah.
it's like yeah, Triple H.
THC-10.
Yeah, was it Triple H?
That's a
Scott
thing. Delta
Steiner.
10,
It is.
Delta 10 is a
Delta
thing.
10 is a great thing.
Yeah, you're talking about that.
Yeah. It's great. So,
Say
like,
goodbye to Hollywood.
yeah, the way that, you know, and obviously, like, everybody on the juice, like, yeah, they can be angry or whatever, but the most, it's crazy, man. Like, the more gym rats that you know, the more, like, level-headed people you know. And you're like,
I don't know.
dude, the people that I've met at my gym, at least,
Like,
and
I've met a couple of hotheads that go to the gym.
yeah,
And, like, you say something wrong, they're hot. Snap.
that might
like-
be the test. Like, that might be
Yeah.
the endo that they're taking, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the more people that I know,
or they're just bipolar. I don't
yeah, it could be a bit of both.
Yeah.
The thing
know.
that,
Like,
Yeah.
the thing that I've realized though is that, like, I think it's crazy to me that, like, the people who are, like, in those types of, like, mental fields, like the people who are, like, psychiatrists and therapists and
Mhm.
and all of them, they are just coming to realize that the majority of people can handle stress better if they go to the gym more, or if they're active more, or if they go outside more. Right? And, like, I know we've talked about it on the show a lot, but I think it's like, how is that not the first thing you think of in terms of, like, treatment? Before
They
you
don't get-
go,
they
like,
don't get
let's try to
kickback?
get you up to baseline, right? So, like, baseline is where, like, a lot of those SSRIs take you, right?
Well, like RFK said,
But-
it's like a kid that's sick is more profitable than a healthy kid.
Yeah, but, you know, even like, profit aside, you think most people are in, like, they're in, like, the know, who are like, "Hey, let's actually try to, like, solve a problem."
Yeah, but it's like when you dangle that fat check for prescribing X, Y, and Z, it's, you know, like I said, like RFK is not wrong. And especially like because the upside, if you got a sick kid that's mentally disturbed, it's like that's a lifelong chemically dependent addict for the next 60 years of their life.
Yeah, it's tragic.
I agree. I'm not going to argue with it.
It's
It
tragic.
sucks.
It's, like, hard to think too, because, like,
Mhm.
I want to think that most people in those higher up positions are, like, at least your doctor kind of wants you to just do better as a human. They, like, want you to feel good. They want you to, like, but, you know, and there's another dichotomy to that
And
too.
then there's me that goes, something's got to kill me. You know, like, I'm going to enjoy life. Something's got to kill me.
Yeah.
You can't enjoy life if something's not trying to kill you. Is that what you're saying?
I'm gonna die. I can't.
Well, you know,
I won't make it out alive.
Like, right. Like, I
That's true.
can't take anything with me when I go.
Yeah, but I feel like you can leave a legacy, right?
I can still leave that.
Yeah,
Still do what I want to do.
yeah.
I may not live as long as some, but
I don't know. Living a legacy is very like, not to say self-centered or self-absorbed, but it's like once you get outside your second generation family, nobody's gonna know who you are. You only really impact your first generation of people that's around with you, where you actually have the most positive. So it's like it's very difficult to establish like lifelong legacies because like we don't know, like there's people out there that are great grandkids of a Genghis Khan. And they don't so far removed, they just don't care. It's like, oh, cool. Don't know the guy.
Yeah, I think, like, knowing his name is probably worth a little bit, right?
I guess, but it's like it's minute.
Like, the
It's
fact
like-
that you know him is like, okay, that's pretty.
You know what I mean? Because like
crazy.
when you go
'Cause
around,
why
these-
would somebody that far removed? Why would you even know his name? You
yeah,
know what
like
I mean?
when I come to West Salem and I see these people's names on these buildings, like, I don't know this guy.
yeah,
I don't know what good he may have done, but he's like he wanted his name on something. It's usually a sign of like he wants to be center of attention, most likely the firstborn. So he's got some
Sure.
he's got some
Ego
issues, ego issues, stuff like that. So it's like
Sure.
you know, just you do good by not
At
knowing
what-
that people had an effect.
they got
on
that
you.
Stewart. Look at me. Look at me. Look what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know at what point is the ego too much of a hindrance? You know?
I think a lot of, I feel that with ego and stuff like that, there's always going to be people wanting you to fall, and it's like you build this big ego up. Like for example, P Diddy, it's going to come down even harder. I think it just puts a lot of pressure on yourself. Like kind of like example, like Donna Karen, she builds this beautiful empire and she commits suicide. I mean, because of all the stress and all everything that's going on with her life. So it's like, and it's like I feel like she dedicated so much to her life that she never figured out how to make herself happy, and she ended up committing suicide, even though she's several figures in the bank, rich. You know, so I guess it all comes down to like where your balance is, and like I'm the same boat he is. Like I'm gonna die one day. I could die leaving here, going home. So it's like all I can really do is be impactful to people I surround myself with, and hopefully my footprint will have some positive impact on them. Like I only have, like for example, I have 11 years with my daughter. I have 8 years with my with my wife. Then I have 40 years with my dad, 40 years with my mom. I have 40 years with I have, let's see here, my sister, my brother's 38, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So it's like those are the ones that are going to be the most impactful of it all. And then there's the handful of people that I've known since high school, and the very, very few, like one or two people I knew from preschool, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm just a blip on the map. It's like I'm just a fart in the wind.
Sure. Sure. How about you, man? Do you think like, because obviously you guys are probably more in the boat of anti-ego, I guess, or anti
Well, like, there's a time and place. Like, if I know like what I'm going to do, or like what I'm about to be like getting myself into, like, yeah, I'm gonna have an ego of like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but it's not gonna be like too much to where I can't be humbled, or like I can't see like it going wrong in like another way to get the same things accomplished. Like, I'm never gonna be like, oh, this is the one way we have to do this. My ego's never gonna get in the way of like, oh, listening to other people suggest a different way to do things. So I guess I'm on the fence because like I feel like there's a time and place for it.
Ego and confidence too,
Right.
Because I think what you're like,
Where's the ego and where's that line?
yeah, because
where is that one? Yeah. I don't know.
I guess it all comes down because ego is not being humbled. Confidence is humble, has been humbled at some
Right.
point in time in your life where you've been not the smartest person in the room, and that's where the whole saying is: if you're the smartest person in the room, you leave.
Yeah.
But if
Right.
you're the dumbest
Well,
person, you leave. You shut up and you just listen.
I'm really happy because I always walk in knowing that I'm the dumbest person. Like I get that like benefit. I don't think other people have it. Like
That's me here.
I walk in and I know I'm like the dumbest person in the room.
That's me here right now.
No, not at all.
It is.
I am dumber. I can prove it.
We can go story for story.
Oh, time for time, stack for stack.
Yeah.
I'll call you and I raise.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so okay, you had mentioned
But also
something.
look at this list. Like everybody votes confidence and ego based off of different things. Like some people could be based off accomplishments, some people could be based off their wallet size. It's
Experience
on a
in
spectrum.
life, like right.
Yeah. The thing is like knowing that, well, because okay, if I'm not the smartest person in the room, there's always something to learn. There's always something like more to find out from whoever I'm with or whoever I'm around. But you had mentioned something like really good. It was like like humbling, right?
Mhm.
And I think leaving yourself open to humbling is a good thing.
Like leaving yourself vulnerable at least a little bit.
At least a little bit.
Always like the
Know
word
that you
curious.
are not.
Always being curious. Like
Mhm.
always be at a level of curiosity because I never know what's going to come out of your mouth. I'm not going to know what's going to come out of your mouth. And apparently the Matrix doesn't like what comes out of my mouth.
My favorite saying, like
That's not your fault. Okay.
my favorite saying my grandpa used to say to me is curiosity may have killed the cat, but it made the monkey famous.
Okay.
So
Made the monkey famous. All right.
Yeah. No, I mean, like if human evolution came out of a monkey probably eating shrooms out of
And eventually you meet. Here we
yeah,
are.
right. No, and you'd also mentioned too, like the line of between confidence and humbleness, or confidence and ego boosting,
Mhm.
right? And this is where I kind of differ, I guess, from some people who are in like the complete hippie camp, where they're like, "Oh, like don't have any ego, let the world wash you,
It's a
go with the
vibe.
flow,
it's
bro."
a vibe.
And it's like,
I
well,
almost find that egotistical too. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about here, man?
I
well,
want.
it's like people who have like,
wait. First, let me
Oh,
hit what they
yeah.
got. So it's like let me be on that vibe.
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
see
let
what
me
you,
on the vibe.
yeah, let
Yeah,
me see
yeah.
how you got to where your
Yeah, like
conclusion.
let me
Right.
get to where you are, and
Then we can talk.
we can talk. Right.
Yeah, and and I think it's a great way to live. Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's kind of cool to just take like the vibe of life or whatever. But then people do, because you might be living the life in your like 20 or 30s, and then all of a sudden your 40s hit and you like haven't done anything yet. And it's like, well, that's not healthy either. And like you should have like an established base. You should be able to like, you know, come to a home that you want to go home to, and you should be able to like live in that reality. And it's something that you yourself have to build. Like there's nobody else that can tell you no or yes, right? So I think there's like a little bit of that. And I also think that like people who have completely decimated their ego, they almost have like a higher value of self compared to people who haven't gone the same journey, and they think down on them. And I think that's like like there's a really funny meme where it's like, I destroyed my ego so that I can tell you that you have to destroy yours because I feel better about myself. And it's like a wall of text, it's like the hippie guy in the background. It's like and that's the only funny left meme I've ever seen. But that all aside, I think that there is like you can't break down the ego too much, because then you do get to the point where you are just like not making executive decisions in your own life that you are responsible for. Nobody else can tell you.
Mhm.
Because I might break my ego down completely, but say I had like a daughter or a wife or a husband or whatever, I have to like be able to still provide for them, but my ego might be too destroyed to do that, and that's not a good thing either. So there is like a self agency taken somewhere along the line of like the
Healthy.
whole
You gotta be
ego
mentally
debate.
healthy. It's like, and that
Yeah.
comes down to the people you
I
surround with a lot of times. 'Cause if you hang around with negative people,
You
you're always
become
gonna be
negative
negative.
too, right?
But if you're around people that it's like celebrate your wins, like when I talk to you or when I talk to other friends of mine that like I'd say like, hey, I hit X on blank, is like I want to share my good news with that said person, because it's like it's not an easy thing to achieve X,
No,
and
right.
like those are the people who can recognize it. That's where your balance of humility and your ego come into play, because it's the ability to be able to pick your ego is like where you self destroy yourself, but where your humility comes in is like, okay, well, I messed up, but I can recover because now I have XYZ skills. The ones that live in a perpetual motion of I'm the victim are the ones that they want to be there. They want to be there because
Yeah.
they don't.
They choose.
They
The
choose to be there.
victim complex is
yeah.
very real.
Oh, it's very real, especially like
Poor me.
yeah.
Yep. Poor me.
Poor me.
Gotta pay for my bills, old
know,
lady.
And the best way to like when you're talking to people is that where's it going with this here? I kind of lost track for a second, but it's the where I'm going with is that you need to surround yourself with people that are talking about positive things. You're always around talking about people that are negative. You're always going to be in that negative mindset, and you got to talk. And it's like that's the biggest thing. Is like we shed layers because it's like they're not moving with you. Like we've all had people from our homie eras where you're no longer friends with them because it's like they still want to be in that level, and it's like you have the opportunity to scale with me, but you just haven't. And it's like I don't know if it's your own self confidence in yourself or what may be the case. I go out hunting
Yeah.
every year. That it's like I may or may not shoot an animal, but I go out hunting because it's like if I do shoot something, it's awesome that all the work, the preparation met success.
Yeah.
But if I don't, I'm still scouting.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
if I don't, last year I went out, I didn't shoot. I was the only one in my hunting party that didn't shoot.
Yeah. And it's like
I
that.
had the opportunity, I just chose not to,
Yeah.
just because I was waiting. But after that one opportunity where I had a good shot, I didn't see anything within range the rest of the year. But that's the chances you take. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah. It's
Like,
the opportunity cost.
right.
Yes, yeah, the ways, and that's where a lot of why a lot of successful people that I've met that also like hunting and fishing, because it's like because fishing you can fish all day and get skunked. I mean, my dad
Yeah.
and I have
And I have
almost
zero,
oh,
and I have
almost
zero,
100 years worth of-
zero problem.
I've
with
had
that.
I've had more days of that than I have.
Yeah. And then there's
I have zero problem with that. I
Yeah.
still call it a successful day.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's because it's better. It's because it's like you're in the moment with that said person.
That's my therapy.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
out in the woods, out fishing, or that's my therapeutic time. Like that's my time to myself,
Yeah. And that's like your
or
ego.
that's me and God time.
Well,
Right.
and that's like your ego kind of telling you that, like, hey, you do need to take
And
like
then
a
there's
little
days
bit.
where it's like,
to
yeah,
yourself.
what am I doing? Like then
Yeah.
then I humble myself and I go, yeah, it's not called killing or it's not called catching. You know, it's called hunting and fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I also like
A
playing
day of
Magic.
fishing could be great, but a day of catching could be crap. It's still a great day. You know, like
Yeah.
It's one reason why I like playing Magic the Gathering, because it's like it's all in the cards. Like there's sometimes where I just lose my ass, and there's like this past weekend I played. It's like I would have won
that's me with
all
Texas
out.
Hold'em.
I would have won all
I
out, but
win
it's like
some, I lose some. You know,
but
I
I
love
presented
Hold'em.
such a good
Let's
front that I got
play,
tagged up
let's
on.
go.
Yeah. I would.
let's go to the casino.
I'm not a gambler, man. I just
Yeah,
not
I
a
was gonna
gambler.
say not everybody I know gambles, but
Gotta risk it.
I feel like gambling is like a very humbling experience. Like if you're putting it like toe to toe,
Like
to
you
a
gotta
lot
be
of things.
smart about it. Like you gotta go in with a number.
I think you just all in. No,
You gotta
okay.
go in with a number you're willing to lose.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's important with like
Mhm.
crypto trading too. Like you
Yeah.
just have to know like what your limits are. And that might be like a little bit of like an ego thing, because some people just like balls to the wallet
it
and
ride.
lose everything. Yeah, like
Yeah.
craps table, they lose everything in one roll. It's like, okay, you should be doing like maybe 20% of what you thought on one roll. Don't do 100, please.
Unless you're up, but like not all.
I
of
mean,
it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. There's like a certain level, and you know,
like I never.
gambling is
yeah.
a really different addiction in terms of that.
But it's fun.
It's just, well, I mean, because like even like my meme coins they're like all gambles. Like I kind of
yeah,
go in
yeah,
with
yeah.
like the idea of like, hey, I might lose $5,000 if I don't.
You never go
know,
in going,
whatever.
"Oh, I know this one's a banger."
Yeah,
Like
well,
I know. Well, I know this one's gonna produce. You know. what
sometimes I
mean?
do. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I've seen this enough on Twitter. I'm in. Like
Yeah.
but you know, like he whiff was a really big win for me
Yeah.
this year. Bowden was even a big win for me. It's like sometimes you know.
Oh yeah.
That's your experience to come shining
well,
to go through.
because that's like, okay, you're on the table and there's no river card yet, but you have like a 2-pair and it's a high 2-pair. You're probably gonna win whatever the river turns
Yeah.
up.
I'm
That's
gonna
kind of-
bet again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where
I'm
I
at
am
least
with
gonna
like,
see the river. You know. Yeah.
well, you're gonna have to, because whoever is going against you, maybe you're 1v1 at that point.
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay, like
Down there, it's
you
like-
guys are both all in.
Oh yeah.
But
So
you're
then
like,
it's
yeah, I
let it
got like a
ride.
pair of kings and I got like an ace.
Then it's flip 'em, yeah.
Yeah. So like you might already know.
Well, then
right.
It's just like yeah.
And that's just all inning because you know.
Unless that ace comes up on that river, but
What are the chances of that? 1 in 52.
Depends on how many decks
ain't
they
even
use.
lower, right?
depends on how many decks they use.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know how many decks they use.
A lot of people use 1. So it's
Well, like at home.
I
but,
know what
like,
you mean,
at
yeah.
casinos, I don't know how many
they might be
use.
using 2 or 4.
Right. I have no
Um,
idea.
But you know, gambling is a very humbling experience because you think time
This
and time
house
again
wins how many
this-
percent of the time?
it's got to be over 52.
Like right.
Got to be, because how would you say the business otherwise? You just have to do the math. But that said, like I think gambling is like probably one of the best terms in like how to predict your ego and how you can play, because it's all odds. It's like all based on like the game itself.
whenever-
You're not basing anything off yourself,
It-
but you are
it's-
playing a
But
game
it's
that
so
you
bad
risk.
because like every time
right?
I bet on a sports team, that sports team never shows up. It's like they know.
Yeah, they know that you did it.
Yeah, it's like
But
oh, he
on a
played,
day that you
he-
wouldn't have
he
bet, they
plays-
would have done
oh,
even better.
like last weekend,
Yeah.
the Vikings won by 27.
Yeah.
Like, I would have called
you
that a
should have
loss.
bet him.
Like,
yeah,
right.
yeah, right.
So this next weekend, I might bet on the Vikings against the Packers.
I
But-
almost don't want you guys to buy the same coins that I'm in. no, I'm kidding. Well,
but that's not a sports team.
there's
like-
a part of that. I mean, it happens in crypto too. It's like, oh, I bought it, so now it's gonna go down. No, it's like the same kind of thing. It's like,
Is that mentality or is that just like
I mean, that's luck of the draw and mentality. I feel like there's so many
is that me
different
being negative or is that like
there's so many different aspects to that, because like,
because
yeah,
I know like betting on a sports team, all the outcomes are rigged. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I know that.
but maybe they weren't rigged that way that week, and then they just happened to not have that
no,
kind
like
of week.
I don't
You know
know,
what I
if
mean?
they're rigged exactly like how it goes down, but there's an overall outcome of every game.
Yeah, because there's 3 judges that people, or three referees that pinpoint like the over under that
Yeah.
what their payouts are and so that,
Yeah.
what to expect from said referee if they're going to be refereeing said game.
Yeah.
So it's like
'Cause
they
they-
know
I don't
the
know. Yeah.
script of who they want to win. It's just how do they get there?
Yeah. Well, you know,
It's usually
and
all determined in the fourth quarter what
But-
plays they want to pull.
so this is
Unless
what I
you're
would say to
Patrick
that.
Mahomes.
So like you betting on a game that has a predetermined outcome,
Mhm.
you just don't know the outcome.
I don't.
but
If I knew
but,
someone who did,
you know, and
I'd be making money.
what you had mentioned was too is like, oh, if I happen to bet on the outcome that I know is going to happen, it won't go that way, right?
So now I just split my bet and go both teams. And
Well,
then I win.
there's almost like it happens. It happens with crypto too. It happens with trading. It happens with people doing like live trading all the
That's
time.
also just like gambling. I win some, I lose some.
Yeah. But I just imagine that
in
like
the cards.
I think a lot of people can like actively put that out into the universe. Like I think it speaks more to like how much the universe around you is valuable. Because if I can bet on a team thinking that they're gonna win because I've read all of like the future results and then they lose because I bet on them. Something had to have gone out into the
is that
universe that changed that
ironic, or
outcome.
is that
Coincidence? Is that not?
is that a conspiracy? Like,
Right? And I'm
am
one of
I
those
the problem? Like,
I'm one of those people that
should I bet on the other team every time? Like,
I really think the world is working with me. So like I'm one of those people that
so you're saying I should bet on the other team every time?
Well,
if it's not going with me,
I
might
like
as
I
well
said,
at least let my team win.
Like I said, I'm one of those people that put out continuously. I like affirm the world to like act with me in my terms because I'm setting them. I'm like, hey, this is what I want
These are
done.
the expectations.
This is what I need done today. Let me go out and do those, and I'll do them every day. I'll put out a to-do list. I'll get it done. I'll try to get it done every single day. Right. The days I don't, I feel like the world's more acting against me. The days that I do, I'm like, the world is working with me and the flow that I'm creating is there. And I don't know if, again, taking the
Where
ego.
to get your weed, Mr. Cheezel?
Yeah, taking the weed, like taking weed, drugs, all of that stuff, taking the ego out of this. I don't know if it's just me telling the world what I need done and like the world starts working with me. It's almost like a secret rule of life, It's almost like, yeah, you almost like affirm it because you've been like, hey, I'm on top already. Let me keep working. I'm gonna keep getting stuff done, and then the world keeps like pushing back into my life what I need to get done, what I need to do today, what I need to achieve today. And I don't know if that's just me putting like hard work into like what I need or if it's something different. I can't tell you.
Okay.
I might take this phone call real quick.
Like,
yeah, when it comes to gambling, I don't play it. I don't gamble enough to really worry. I'd rather put my money into like stocks and cryptos. Like if I lose, like I at least had some type of an educated guess. But when you're playing against the house, you're always bound to lose.
what about like pull tabs?
Pull tabs are fun. Like I like going like if the three of us went to the bar and stuff like that, I'd match like, hey, I'm putting in 50, putting in 50.
Yeah.
And doing that, that's fun. I've had several good nights doing that, but it's
I've cleaned
fun.
out boxes doing that.
But it's like it's a fun experience. Like, there was one night where this is probably
one night,
I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago now, and where we bar hopped stuff like that. There's the same three of us. We just went from one bar to the next bar to the next bar. We're drinking, we're having fun. And the upside was that like I was getting closer to my house so I could walk home.
Oh yeah.
And we ended up pulling out like almost $400 a piece per person throughout the entire night. So I was like, we actually did really, really well.
One night, me and three buddies, we went out, we bought an entire box, walked out with $3,000 a piece.
Oh shit.
And then we went to the next bar and started throwing at that box and walked out with another $1,200. Like,
very cool.
So we drank for free the entire night, and then we still walked home with.
So did you know when you go to these bars, like when you look at, did you look at the side of something and see what's all still available?
No, we just threw them.
Oh, you just threw.
We're just like, oh, what box?
I gotcha.
Here.
We'd always look at like what's all still available. And
it all depends on what bar we went to, because like if we were friends with the bartender, it's like, yo, what is everyone playing tonight? Okay, we'll go with another box. We don't want to go with a box that everybody's been picking out of. We don't know what's been crossed off.
True.
It's like, what box has been left alone all night?
Mm-hmm. And go after the one that's
we'll take that one.
Corner. Yeah. I gotcha. I mean, I get it.
And then like one night, different night, we went out. There was a $5 box per ticket, $5 per ticket. But the most you can win is $1,000 off each ticket. We walked out there with $5,000, like cash. Like, not including the 20s and 50s that we pulled out of there.
Sure.
Like, we all split $5,000 just like walking out.
That's nice. It's still Still a positive experience.
It's still like if we lose, we lose, but we ended up walking out of there with serious money, and everyone's just like, oh. And like the owner was sitting 3 seats away from us going, you at least going to put some of that money back into my bar? Like, we were buying everybody drinks. We were like, oh, round for the bar. Pull out another grand. Oh, round for the bar. Like, probably gave that bartender like $800 in cash just because we were walking out with $5,000. Yo, here's your help. Thank you.
So was it? Did they call you about your car insurance?
It's not the call.
Was it a good call? Was it?
It
It's
was
obviously not an emergency.
it
We
was a
don't-
survey call.
we don't have to end podcasts. It's not an emergency.
The election survey
Oh,
call.
who you voting for?
Yeah, who you voting? And she's like, "Oh, I can't record your answer if you don't take the survey." And I was like, "Well, I'm already voting for somebody, so don't worry about it."
I'm
Anyways,
voting. That's all that matters.
yeah. It's so annoying. I'm actually waiting for like a call from the army. So like, I don't know.
From the army? You
Not-
gonna
Are
list?
you enlisting?
You know that-
You're right.
You know that group
They
of
go,
kids
oh,
that
he's got all the guns. We're calling him.
Yeah, right. No, you know that group of kids that I like said that I take job surveys for or whatever.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know, like I help
Is
them
it
get
a
jobs.
Reference call.
It's a reference call.
For the
So-
army.
Yeah, so I'm waiting.
So if they call you.
Yeah, so
They're
it's
like,
an
"Oh, yeah,
unknown.
bro."
It's an unknown caller. He said to like try to answer all of them that I can, and I was like, okay.
Ah, okay.
I don't know.
I gotcha.
But
Well,
I was
this-
like,
this-
oh, it's not going to be a 1-800 number, but
Yeah.
that doesn't. So the new iPhone update, like every unknown number just comes up as unknown. It doesn't have like a 1-800. It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
blocks them now. So I need
Potential
to
spam.
I pretty
Like,
much
yeah.
need to like answer every phone call until I get that call, which is unfortunate. But it's also like it's just during an election. It's an unfortunate time. I shouldn't like really blame, you know.
The
but
telemarketers. Yeah.
yeah, I hope I can get him his job because honestly, like it's good to see people.
Does
win.
any call references anymore? Do they actually call?
The army will, because he's in security clearance. So like
okay,
he
okay.
probably will.
Okay.
Yeah, when I went through my FBI background check,
Yeah,
I had to put
They
those
called me.
Oh, that's right. That's right. 'Cause I put you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah,
if I need
they call me.
clearance, I'm calling Brady.
Yeah.
It's great, man.
But
Like,
I-
yo,
I
I'm
love-
using you
I
as
love
I'm
helping
using both
people.
of you as a reference now
What?
that you don't know your past.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I know my. I know my
It's
last
great.
10 years.
To
Yep.
the camera, I'm speaking to the people
To
in the
the
back
people out
here.
there. Yeah, the FBI
I'm
know.
like the most like anti-government person. So like when people call me for references, I'm like the best reference. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, like they do great when you need them for like a one-on-one or like an individual. Like they're gonna help call. They're always gonna.
I'm
be
using them
there.
as job reference now. Like if
Yeah,
I ever leave,
Please do that.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I'm great. I'm
Yeah.
good for it.
I met one guy once down in Phoenix about that.
You
It's
have to know people
and-
like me because me.
Oh, I'll sell the
I'll
shit out of you.
make up.
Still make me look
a-
like an idiot.
I'll make up a
I'm
time.
using both
that-
of you now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
And then
pretty,
I'll throw Kato on there just because he's a cop. Be like, yo, this cop knows me.
I'm
We're
really
good.
I'm really good at
I'm clean.
You're like,
That's right,
right.
officer.
I'm really good at like coming up with a story. So like if you need something like kind of told, like who you call. But you know, like I said,
Ghostbusters. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Brady.
it's weird when it's weird when jobs like because you know it is like you know DHS references. I've been like a DHS reference. I've been like in it's like things that I don't really subscribe to, so I just have to like come up with it, you know. But like that said, like I'm good for it. So like you
Oh,
can
yeah.
use me for
I
anything.
would like put it past you that you're good for
Yeah, it's
that.
just
On the spot. Like, yo,
yeah. Like
Yeah.
oh, I remember the
he's
time.
great. Yeah.
Like I remember one time I had to use it.
He
for,
saved my
like,
life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like-
That one time. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like I will put
Yeah, that one time at band camp. you
Yeah.
know?
I'll put you on like the pedestal, and that's what I do. I'm just known for doing
Watch
that.
blow a fart in a trumpet. It's funny.
Well, because it's always about people that you keep close, and if you keep good people close, like they're gonna give you a good reference for stuff. So it's just like I don't know, but yeah, if you guys ever need me for a job reference, I'm here. But yeah, this like group of like I don't know, again, 20-year-olds, like they all use me because they like know I'm older and like a little bit more experienced. But they're like, oh yeah, like could you put in a good
Also,
word?
it's like
I'm
the
like, yeah, I'm
younger
gonna be
kids
there.
wanting me to buy them cigarettes.
It's
Like,
like
oh, I'm using you for your age.
imagine that group of kids, but they're like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna use you for a job reference.
Oh,
So,
now
like,
I'm using you for a job. I used to have
I
you
used to
me
buy
cigarettes.
alcohol
Like,
from
right,
you, but
and,
now
and alcohol. Like, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'll put in as good as word as I need to for whatever you
How long
guys
have you known
need.
him? You want the truth or?
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
it's like especially if it's coming from the government. Your big brother. You can know if I'm lying or not.
You're right.
It's like what
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, no, they don't know everything.
I'm sure they fact check.
I mean, they're not paid to fact check, so yeah.
Listen, the best part of the
Um,
military is like he's not a communist compared to some of the people on TikTok.
Yeah, like the current military, man. I feel bad for. I don't know why you'd submit yourself to that anymore.
Yeah.
We were talking
Ego
about it
shoot.
earlier, but like the ego itself. Do you think like going into the military is some type of ego feed, or do you think it's like more of a? Do you think it's more of like a? I don't know. I don't know what I would put on that because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to push the nation forward, but it's like
A lot of them are just lost. They don't know what to do in their life, and they figure like that's the best way to go.
kind of
'cause
like a
it's cheaper than
deserted
college,
look.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if I die, my family members get 400 grand. If I survive, well, we'll go from there. See what the next day brings.
Yeah.
That's what the average life policy is for somebody that joins the military. So a lot of the veterans I met, they didn't know what to do, or they were heavily involved in drugs, or they're in a really shitty neighborhood, they're looking for a means to get out,
Yeah.
and or it's like they were heading down, they're following a bunch of losers. They needed to get out of their situation. So that's where a lot of them do it. That's where a lot of them go that direction to get out of the military. And then
Yeah.
then it comes in the real ego comes inside the tribe of them all. It's like, well, I'm a ranger, I'm a Navy SEAL. I'm
Sure.
like some type of an SF
Superior.
Yeah.
superiority complex.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, a lot of narcissists and a lot of psychopaths join the military.
Oh,
in
what
this
do you mean?
position.
Oddly enough, I feel
Yeah,
like
well,
that's
yeah.
got to be something.
I mean, the only reason I wanted to is go shoot guns.
That
I
would
wanted
be
to go
fun.
shoot a tank specifically. I
But
so I
then-
talked to it.
But
Go
then I
ahead.
got arrested, so they didn't want me. So
Me too. Yeah, that's like
Ah.
why I couldn't join the
Yep.
Navy. I wanted to join the Navy.
only way I could is if I got drafted.
Yeah,
That
They're-
hasn't
I'm
happened.
already too old. For
Yeah,
that.
now I'm too old. So.
you're in the second group.
And I have a bad wrist, so it's like
now I'm too old.
Yeah,
so.
you're in the second group. It's 20. What is it? 18 to 26. 27 to 38 now.
something like that.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I'm,
You always join
I'm
the
in
Air
Group
Force.
B. I'm in
Group
B
B,
tier.
yeah.
You're
I'm
B
in the
tier.
B
You're in
tier.
the
You're
B
B
tier.
tier, yeah.
Problem is, you put older people against younger kids, you're gonna win every time. younger kids don't know what the fuck is going on.
They shoot
Um,
themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. They
Like-
make their own mistakes. Like all you have to do is wait. No, it's something to be said because like I don't know, I was gonna join the military too, and I like couldn't because of my
Mhm.
record. Like my record just kind of caught up to me, and I was like, oh, I'm like
Mhm.
not able to do that.
It is what it
um,
is.
Yeah, and it sucks.
I'm not mad at it.
I feel like at the time I was, and then like I look at it now, and I'm like, maybe it's good I didn't because I would have ended up getting fired in 2020 for whatever, and I
Or-
would have ended
or
up getting
dead.
or dead, right? I could have gotten deployed and dead, like so.
Well, you missed the bad year. You already missed the bad years. Like when I
Yeah,
graduated,
GY I
would've
feel
went
like
through-
would have been
I would have
different.
went through the worst shit of it all.
Yeah,
between
anything before
99
like
to 2006,
2009.
Oh,
yeah,
2009. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was brutal years. Brutal years. Luckily, some of my friends got stationed in Korea, into Egypt, down into Africa, stationed out there. So
yeah.
not everybody got to go to the litter box.
I think having some of the military experience would have been like good for me though. Like I think that's one thing I wish
Gives
I
the guy
wouldn't have
gives him
gotten denied.
credibility, you know.
Yeah. Right, because now you can like talk on a podcast about survival instincts or whatever
Mhm.
because you've like been in a war zone. I haven't
You
I
can
haven't
talk-
really been
be
anywhere
for
to
mafia
be like,
and all that
hey,
shit,
this
you
is
know?
like where like what happened to me and like what the life that I lived or
Yeah.
whatever.
Ben would be a
was
phenomenal
easy.
person to have on the podcast because he went through all. He went through E4 Mafia. He got smoked. You know, it's like he went through all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never gotten shot at. Like I feel like
I've been
that's
shot at.
on public land.
Public land, and I've been shot at in the streets.
I've been shot by a cop. So yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah. That's crazy. I know that's like you weren't directly involved, but now you were, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We just happened to be driving by, which is like, because we were over by Bittersweets,
Mhm.
and so we're coming to the intersection right there.
Yeah,
so
like 16 going
yeah,
up.
so you have cop back over here. You have a cop in the driveway. Then it's like you have another cop car there, and everybody's fighting over on this side right here. And so now wife and I were driving through, so let's just slow down because we didn't want to hit a cop. So it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
we hit the purpose. Like, that's
Move
fine.
that for the camera.
You know, and we end up so as we're driving past the cop right here, we see them fighting over here, As we're coming over here, we got that speed limit sign right there.
Yep.
Bullet goes through the guy's bicep and goes into the mirror right there, something like that. And so when the impact hit, it started the window. So like I'm like, adrenaline hits. I'm like, I was like,
I don't feel nothing.
I don't
like,
feel
I'm
anything in the
good.
arm. I don't feel anything in the neck. So it's
Check
like,
the
all right.
wife real quick.
Like, right,
Yeah.
you good? Like,
Well, I would have stopped. It would have hit me based off what the level it was. It would hit me. It would have killed me if it hit in the spot. If it wasn't for the fact that he was using probably a 147 grain round that went straight through his bicep. But the guy ended up getting shot like 7 times and he didn't die. The fucker's on probe. He got released from jail.
Yeah, like
we had to go to jail. We had to go down to the precinct. We had to give intermittent statements, stuff like that, discussing what we both of us saw that separated us in 2 different rooms. Such. So our testimonies cleared the officers of that. I tell the people at work about it because it made like our shooting didn't make the news. The situation made the news because we didn't want to make it a spectacle.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's guys at work that I work with. It's like, why don't you sue the cops? Like, the one day I do need them.
But...
Yeah.
I don't want that record on it because cops remember that shit. They're gonna be pissed. It's like I want.
When do you ever need the cops? Really?
Then like
no, I'm kidding. I'm
knock
kidding.
on wood.
I'm kidding, Jeff.
the second time I got shot.
If was here, he would be yelling at me already. I know it.
The second time I got shot at, we were out at a house party here in La Crosse.
House party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we were chilling, having a good time, and all of a sudden we were doing a drug deal, like just for some weed. And then all of a sudden, dude pulls out a gun, like shoots twice, like at me and my homeboy that was like standing right next to me because we were just like sitting there smoking. And like we both jumped, but it hits him in both ankles. Like, yeah, it was bad. Like we made the news, but they couldn't release our name because we were minors.
Shit.
Yeah,
huh?
like it was bad.
Wow, you got shot twice in both ankles.
Well, it was only one bullet. One bullet went through both ankles.
Oh, okay.
The second one missed completely, both me and him.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I look back or like I think about that all the time. Like if we didn't like jump and like dive out of the way, we could be dead.
Yeah.
Sure.
You recover okay though and everything?
Yeah, he's walking now. But it took him a while.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Those situations you find out who has your back and who is a snitch.
Oh yeah.
No, that's I can't. Yeah, there's like no story.
But obviously, we had to talk to the cops because I'm not gonna let my homeboy bleed out. Like I called 911 after like they ran after shooting twice. Like they got what they wanted. Like they don't know the severity of what they were leaving us with.
Yeah, all they're calling with is just like, hey,
I can't believe just shooting.
Shot.
Yeah, shooting.
Yeah,
at
like
all.
we were
It's
both
nuts,
laying
man.
there, like pretending
no
that we were down, like because we didn't want them to keep shooting. They ran off, and then I like pull out my phone. I'm like, yeah, we have people down, shots fired. Here's the address. Like I had to sit there and talk to police. Like, yo, what was going on? And I was like, yo, I was trying to sell them a bag of marijuana. I don't have any more on me. Like, you can search me, you can search my car. Like
at that point, you just need somebody to treat a bullet wound.
I'm just trying to get him help. Like, right? Like, I don't care. Charge me. Like, charge me. I don't have any cash on me. Like, charge me. I don't care. I'm just trying to get him.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
But they were just like, yo, have a good night. Like, thank you for calling. I'm like, I'm not just going to let him bleed out. Like, I'm not going to try and drive him to the hospital. Like, I don't want a bunch of blood in my car. And then you guys pull me over going, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, now I'm taking more time.
You're right.
Like,
we've all seen those rescue 911 calls where the guy gets pulled over. It's like, no, my wife's having a car attack, and then the woman dies.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's insane. That's insane. That's a crazy.
Or like me.
I mean, like I would think about that shit all
and
the
going,
time.
yeah, he got shot.
Yeah.
I'm getting questioned. Where's the gun? You know, like.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
You called the cops.
Like, right.
They're not going to
like,
question that. They're going to be like, hey, let's get you friend help.
Obviously, I don't have a gun if I'm calling you. Like
yeah. Like, I didn't shoot it.
Like, right. Like, you can test me.
I guess you could do accidental.
I don't care.
Accidental discharge or something. But yeah,
But
no, it's like not even thinking about it.
I have a buddy of mine that was delivering pizza in Glendale, Arizona, and he was driving through, and it's like he just happened to meet the wrong guy. He thought it was somebody else. He shot right through the window, went through his bicep. And so it's like he shows me the scar going, there's a complete pass through, stuff like that. So here I am, I have to deliver a pizza, and it's like, now I have to go to the hospital because some motherfucker shot me.
Yeah. Man, I thankfully have not been shot at. Like,
Yeah.
I think the worst thing I've been maybe threatened with a bat, but that's like not the worst. Like, that's not as
Someone
bad
tried
as a
to threaten
gun.
me with a bat, but then I pulled out my gun.
Well, that's yeah. See,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
I'm too old to live, and I
one
really
up
people-
then
bug.
it's just like, yeah.
It's like,
then it's just
okay.
like, come on, bro.
You brought a bat to a
Like, yeah,
gunfight,
like, right.
you idiot. Yeah,
I won that one. Let's just
Um,
say that. Like,
yeah. Like, that's different. But yeah, that's crazy. So like, yeah, shoot, like, I can't even imagine like what that's like. So
But the further you separate yourself from that type of trash, the better off you're going to become.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it's almost like it's situational, and like if you don't hang out with people that are gonna put you in that situation, it's not ever gonna happen,
No, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
like, the group that I was hanging out with when I was younger, like they put me in those situations,
Oh,
and I think like
100%.
learning to get away from those is like a big. I mean, it's like you just want to do that early. So
Yeah.
like anybody who's like young,
and dumb.
hanging
young
out,
and dumb.
young and dumb,
Young, dumb, full of cum.
Then you have a
Yeah.
reason.
yeah, listen to like your story,
and I think
just
that's
be like,
where it
hey,
comes
like,
down to ego too, as well. Because like, what are you gonna do? You gonna fuck with me or something like that? That's where your ego can cash a check.
Your
that
ego-
you
yeah.
can't handle.
Yep.
exactly,
You're gonna
cash
sign-
check
you're
you
gonna-
can't
yeah.
handle.
Yep.
And it's gonna put you in a situation that you think you
Bite
can
off
handle
more
just
than you can
fine, but you
chew,
shouldn't
you
be
know?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
being young, like that's where a lot of that comes from.
And then you
I
get a
think.
lot more leniency if you're younger and get caught doing this stuff.
Yeah.
than if I were still out here in the streets doing this stuff now.
You're 30. You got to get your shit
I'm
together.
almost 40.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like
I'm pushing
you're not
up
a
on
kid
40.
anymore.
Like, yeah, you're not dumb. Like,
yeah, like you're just dumb.
Yeah,
you
like,
are
yeah,
dumb.
you're right, but like
you're not young anymore.
you don't have a reason. Like, right.
Yeah. So, that's a big thing. So like anybody, if I had to give advice to people who are like in their 20s or like early
Get it out of the way.
early
Yeah.
teens even, get it out of the way. And like even don't put yourself in those situations in the first place, but like, learn from people who
But
are older than you.
If it happens, you know what I mean?
It
But-
does happen. It
Yeah.
does. There's like, I mean, if you're growing up in like a neighborhood where it's just
Well, now
it
it can
is the
happen
norm.
at school any day. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, like my this past weekend in my daughter's high school, they went to the football game. And they saw a guy carrying. Like, well, was the gun holstered or was the gun out? It's like the gun was holstered. So what you're saying is, it's a good guy with the
you got to
gun.
conceal the carry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy
so
with a
it's
gun.
Yeah. And stuff like that. It's like there's a difference between because a bad guy with the gun would have been
Just
started
going to be
shooting.
waving it. Right.
Yeah. Good guy with the gun would have kept it sheathed. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Bad guy with a gun would have had a rage finder.
it's like-
Good guy with a gun,
Yeah.
holstered.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's usually the way to do it. The guy who was carrying it was not paying attention, or it could have been off-duty cop. That's what my thoughts are.
Cop. Yeah.
Yo, that's what my thought was. But it's like the guy who was carrying did a shitty job of concealing it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
does it
even
really have to
open,
be
open
like
carry is still
actually
a thing.
concealed?
Yeah.
Like, hidden?
Open carry is a constitutional right too.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
But
Like-
you don't want to let the bad guys know that you have a gun. You know what I mean? You want to have the upper hand. That's why it's concealed.
It's a deterrent. It's like a natural deterrent.
But I'd rather be
But-
like, yo, I have a gun and it's real quick.
yeah,
Man,
like you're
but
not.
you're
I
also-
have to dig for it.
But you're also on
more
school
opted
property.
to- yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're,
you're on
on
school
like
property,
you're on like
so-
a football game.
So
or
if you're
like a high school
gonna be a
football
good guy
game.
carrying a gun, you need to be concealed.
Yeah.
But if you're undercover cop,
Most
it's like,
crimes
eh.
do happen in gun-free zones, so
Yeah,
like just something to keep in mind.
Oh,
you
there's
know?
no guns here. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
that's like an open invitation to like
That's why
good-
bullies
bad
go
guy
to
with
those
gun
areas.
kills good people with guns. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the reason why they go up because they know there's nobody going to be to stand up against them. That's why why the risk is greater when you go for a bank because you have a reward if you're able to get the money and run. But not at school, it's like you're looking for it. And right now, the current shooting situation has all been those who vote Kamala and those who have mental health issues through the roof. 'Cause every one of them all the school shootings we have some form of a manifesto.
Yeah.
Some of a mental illness, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why it's like
I think that's always like a weird thing
with that
too, 'cause-
ideology being pushed on kids.
Yeah.
That's where it makes it a very target rich environment because the ones that are getting bullied because like they don't know where they can't accept themselves for who they are. So looking at ways to fit in, but they also want the dopamine drip of, hey, look at me, I have mental disease.
It's
So
the
like,
ego.
yeah.
We've come back to it. It's like the ego. You have to
Yeah.
feed your ego enough not to be sad about it,
but you also
but
gotta
then
accept who
don't
you are.
overfeed it. Yeah, don't overfeed it because then you become
'Cause then you get the victim mentality
egotistical.
coming in
Yeah.
place. It's like, well, I'm gonna shoot you guys because you guys are picking on me.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's like once you hit 18, once you graduate, if you make it to graduation, then nothing cares. Nobody cares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're not costing me money, I'm not gonna deal with you, because the best part is like, oh, you're giving me all the signals that you have mental health issues. I'm gonna avoid you like the plague you are, because everything you touch will become toxic, because you can't accept for who you are.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't accept who you
That's
are.
the
But you
other
want
thing
somebody to
about an
accept you for who you're
ego
not.
too. If you break it down too much, I feel like kids or young adults in particular will start like changing their body because they feel like they don't have the ego for it, you know? And that might be something about like everything else that's going into the food or whatever it is, like vaccines that people take, whatever it is. But I feel like there is some type of there has to be some type of change in that regard. Like, I don't think you can break the ego down to nothing, because then you are malleable and then you are easily influenced by people who don't have your best interest in
Then
mind.
you're a sheep.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's a bad thing
yeah.
too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I got a buddy of mine's going through a divorce right now because his wife
You-
has the IQ of somebody that the military wouldn't accept, but she gets
oh
she-
my God.
and she is easily manipulated. She is easily manipulated, and it's like when we hung out with him and she was drunk, and put it this way, she is so dumb that she could not use her smartphone
You want
that
it?
has Google Maps on it to get her to where we're at. She called him like 6 times because she's that dumb. It's like, here's the address, punch into Google Maps, turn into walk mode, and walk. Nope. She had to call him constantly because she couldn't figure it out. That's how dumb she is. But the fact that it's
That's
like
a short right there.
yeah, and the worst part is like he almost divorced you last year during the middle of summertime. It was the day of. He could have signed the paper and been done with the drama, been done with it, wash his hand with it. But it's like, he's in his mid-40s, close to 50. It's like he's like, who's gonna play with me? Who's gonna touch my penis? So it's like, well, I might as well stick with her because at least she will.
For now, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
should never
right?
be in this. It's still like, as a
Yeah.
man, right? You don't need sex. You don't need anything.
You can be abstinent.
You can be an incel if you need to. Just get what you need to get done, and then everything else will fall into place. I don't
That's
know.
why prostitution should be legal, man. There's a lot of people that
Prostitution should not be legal.
Hey, OnlyFans begs differ.
I'm joking, by the way. I don't think anything should really be illegal, but like morality wise, I don't think prostitution's the answer.
We're on the 5th wave of feminism, and yet OnlyFans is $1 billion business.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go.
I'm not saying it's not the economy way, but the moral way is a different way than the economy and
Right.
legality. So I don't know.
I think that what's going on is that the brainwashing has worked out so well that people, like the women, don't recognize the value of having that ability to be able to, like, because
Say
I got
no
laid,
and
I have a
stuff,
legacy.
yeah.
That's a leg. If you want a legacy, fucking have a
have like 30 kids from different
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, that's
well, you can still have a lot of kids with one
Genghis
man.
Khan style.
Yeah.
And that's what you gotta
That's,
do.
if you want to have a
ladies.
leg, Brady,
No.
that's your legacy right there. It's like, just knock up Kayla, knock up a few more girls. It's like, boom, now you have a legacy.
There you go. Maybe
Yep.
that's what I do.
Yep.
Genghis Khan style, baby.
You just got to learn what the laws are in child support and what your max is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I need to make $1 billion, and then from there.
Oh, you'd be like Nick Cannon from
I could be
Wild
like
and Out.
Yeah.
Elon
He's at like
Musk.
what, 12 kids
Oh, yeah,
now?
he's
At
aiming.
least.
He's aiming for more.
Yeah, right.
Like he's 70. He's still aiming.
Well,
Elon Musk's
Elon Musk has
child
8 kids now.
Yeah. You have to get all your secretaries pregnant. I get it. I understand now.
Hey, at least he
Why
didn't
didn't I
knock
know
up
that
Heard.
before? What?
At least he didn't knock up Heard.
Oh, I
Johnny Depp's
know. He
wife?
could have.
Yeah.
He could have. That could have been an Elon Musk legacy.
Oh,
But
shit.
at least
that-
Clinton was smart. He was only getting head. You know?
Yeah, exactly. He swallowed. He swallowed DNA. He swallowed trace evidence.
I don't know. Not from Lewinsky. That's all I'm gonna say. She was good in her prime.
Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. That's the way, huh?
So most Detroit kids rap condoms prevent minivans and child support.
Minivans. Oh my gosh. Yeah, child support, man. Crazy. I saw a stat the other day that was like Clinton went into office. He was only worth like $3 million, and he left the presidential office with $253 million.
You know, 40 years ago, Ronald Reagan won all 49 out of 50 states.
Yeah,
then
minus
it-
your lovely Minnesota.
And then
Yeah.
then after that they open up the borders. They don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotta import your voters.
Yeah.
Gotta do more of it. I would have done the same thing. Oh man.
So
Yeah,
you're saying Minnesota's the B tier?
Minnesota's below B tier.
Yeah.
They're commies. Land of the commies, man.
It's only
off,
Rochester
get outta
and,
here,
and
commie.
Duluth and Minneapolis, along with
I was gonna say the most
St.
of
Cloud.
the western side of the state is not.
It's
but-
all red.
yeah.
Their philosophy is
Funny
burn us
how it
down.
works. Yeah, funny how it works. Yeah, like if I had to assume like where kind of like the country's going in the next like election, I'm worried. I'm really worried.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to talk about it on here.
Yeah, we
B
can't talk
tier,
about
we're
that.
entertainment only.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna mention something else about like the album stuff, but we got way too gone for that. Who do you think has the best music discography out of like any artist? And that's like any genre, like anywhere.
Well,
Discography.
gotta
Yeah.
look at the ones who
If
sold
you-
their soul to the devil. So
If
I'm
you had
looking
to
right now, probably
weigh an
Taylor
artist by their
Or even
entire
Metallica.
thing,
AC/DC.
their entire album output, you think AC/DC or Metallica wins that?
I wouldn't say wins that, but they're top. I guess it all comes down to album sales. Who has the top album sales, and that tells you who won.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would use that metric.
but it's well because it's all also very one sided. It could be Tom McDonald, from the Hangover Gang.
Mm.
It's all subject.
Yeah. But
So
if you had to put, okay, so like AC/DC, Metallica, or Tom
If I was
McDonald, who are you putting?
Probably Metallica. Honestly, I won't even vote for any of those. That'd be Rammstein. I like all
Okay.
their albums.
Rammstein's a
I'm
good
biased.
answer.
I have to go Tech.
Okay, Tech is the guy.
Well, he's just done so much throughout 40 years. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, 40 years started back in the 80s, and I mean, probably early 80s.
mean? Early 80s.
Yeah, in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like, he's the most independent rapper there is. Like, he tops all of those charts.
Yeah.
Just for being, like, independent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's done so well because he never sold his
He
soul.
never sold.
Yeah.
No, never sold.
Never
I think that's
sold
like
out.
One quote he always says is mainstream or Tech will never go mainstream. Mainstream will go Tech.
All right.
Well, considering looking at
You know
Eminem,
who I
Falling
miss
Reverse.
a lot is Immortal Technique.
Mm.
I wish he would
Don't
come
recognize.
back with his Third Voyage of Africa album.
You think he got, like, canceled or banned?
He still tweets occasionally. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him.
Because, like, he doesn't create content
Yeah, but he was like really, I think if I had a guess, it's probably almost related to like the Palestinian stuff going on with Israel right now. I think he's like more, I think he's like freedom fighting that. I don't know if he's obviously probably not on the ground there, but I think he's just like hesitant to release anything because of that. Which
Is he based out of Israel or Palestine or the Middle East?
No, he's Puerto Rican. Moved up to New York
Yeah.
when he was young, and I think he just kind of like grew his following from there. Immortal Technique is like one of my favorite rappers, but it's unfortunate that he doesn't like put music out anymore because I used to listen to like The Martyr a lot, and all of like that entire him as a whole. Like he's like a really fun person to evolve with. That said, like I don't necessarily agree with him on a lot of the stuff, but he's always been like a kind of like a ground rock when it comes to like people who are in that kind of like left libertarian mindset. He's kind of like on the opposite side of that, but it's like important to just like realize his music as a whole has probably influenced quite a bit of people, without necessarily being the mainstream artist. Kind of like Tech, like he's always been independent, always been doing something a different way.
Never heard of him, so that's I don't have anything.
He his like lyrical skill is probably worth looking up alone. He's definitely kind of been like that cannibal, kind of not necessarily Tech Nine, but he definitely has like the skill set for syllables, lyrical, and his like feature songs with like the atmosphere guys and like that whole label, Brother Ali, all of them. Like it's good to see. It's influential for like how crazy.
So what
that-
discography would you say? You never answered that question.
Oh, you gotta let me like not answer questions. I ask, okay?
No.
Um,
I'm not like our other.
one of my favorite like bands as a whole. I can't even say them. That's the thing. I don't know. If I, gun to my head, like I'd probably say Kanye.
Okay.
His like most influential by far, and in terms of features on songs and production beats, probably go Kanye.
Like
Okay.
you said,
Um,
atmosphere. That's a great one to like. I would say too, like
yeah.
just because he was a local hero to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I hung out with him. And,
I didn't know you had.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I've hung
Um,
out with Slug. Yeah.
yeah, that's sweet.
Like,
Slug is like he seems like he'd be really cool to hang out with.
he
I
is
don't
cool
know
to hang
him,
out with,
but
but he's like, if you're like not in that circle, he's an asshole.
oh,
Like
okay,
to fans, anybody. He's
yeah,
an asshole,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he'll straight up admit it. Like, yeah, if you're not in this circle or what I'm trying to do that night, I'm gonna be a
I I kind of respect that though too.
Mhm.
dick. Like, yeah, I wouldn't want to
um,
be bothered at all times of the day, just being like, yo, can I get a photo?
yeah,
Like, I'll set up meet and greets, like that ever became the case. But like,
yeah, yeah.
he's a dick,
Still
but like,
respected.
yeah, like
Yeah.
he's super chill to be around.
Yeah, they just released another like rap album too recently, so that's like pretty cool.
Or him and Prof. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Prof is oh my god, dude. I know people who love Prof. Um, and yeah, I guess it's cool to meet too, and but kind of yeah, like I said, Kanye was probably where I put like top discography, and it's just because of the production beats that he
Mm.
has for Jay-Z, and like you can name it, he's probably touched it
Mhm.
somewhere in the album sphere. Um, and he's not like Puff Daddy by any means, where he isn't like he is not following that agenda.
Right.
So that's awesome. And then a second close one would be Marshmello, but I know I've mentioned that I've seen him live a couple times, but it's just like he's also very influential in pop music, and he's not really
Even
mainstream per
Mighty Mouse is
se.
pretty up there too as well.
Who?
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse? Okay, yeah. Yep.
He was on Sean Ryan show. It's a good conversation.
Yeah. You almost have to get those like people that have like influenced a lot of different albums,
Mhm.
because like those people are going to be the ones that like change the history, I guess. I think it's crazy how one artist or one like album can change
Yeah.
so many countless people. Like that is like definition of putting your ego out there, but like having it influence everybody. So you're almost like a lack of ego because of that, because you're doing it for
Or
other
like
people.
humbled. Because
Yeah.
like everybody's
Like
doing-
NF.
you know what I mean? Like,
NF is one of my favorite rappers, and it's because he's always put stuff out to like influence how other people think in the same moments that he's been through.
Mhm.
Right. So
I
yeah.
listen to him a lot in recovery, actually. Like in
I'm
rehab,
sure.
like because they wouldn't let us listen to music with drugs or violence or
NF,
any
Christian rapper,
like
essentially.
yeah. That's how he started.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And like honestly, I think it's crazy how much rappers, I guess, like the ones who are not mainstream influence are coming to God per se,
Or at least talking
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
or like
it-
like Dax now talking about mental health issues.
Yeah,
Or
Dax is really
real
kicking
Dax
off.
is
life,
like
real
last-
life issues.
he's I like that. I like that evolution. And like I said, I might not necessarily ever follow like a god or religion or anything like that, but I think finding more people who are going towards that light, I think is good for humanity as a whole. So like I'm good with it. I drop my ego and I don't be like, oh, like the god that you follow is fake, like
no, yeah.
everything that you do. Like I think you have to. Here's another part of humbling yourself. People need Jesus. People need God. People need the light. And I think that's like another thing that I think overall is heading
They need
people
some
into the
sort of
right
higher
direction.
power.
Yeah, it's like a hierarchy. It's like somebody to submit to. If the outcome is good, you look at that more than anything else. And I think it's I think that's probably a good place to end.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was
Yeah,
like, we are pushing 2.
guys, B tier pod. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're subpar takes, subpar entertainment, but we are just good enough. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. We do have a lot of new people. It's crazy to see like the growth just over the last like month or two. And I feel like it's only going to go up from here. So
Yep.
upward spiral.
Thank you guys.
Share the reels and shit. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.